You may not know the name, but it's likely that you're familiar with the images created by Ken Doan. Spanning nearly 40 years, Ken's archive ranges from fine art to a more familiar whimsical scenery. While growing up in Australia, his work inspired me to be more of a dreamer, more hopeful, and more expressive. It was the diversity of color and childlike imagination that drew me into a life of creativity. Today, I'm interested to learn more about this lovely man and the essence of his youthful imagination.
I'm not really interested in looking at something and making a drawing of what that looks like in front of me. I'm much more interested in making a drawing of what something feels like to me. Even if you look at a flower, I can't make a painting that is more beautiful than that, but maybe I could make a painting of what it feels like. And I like to make paintings that are beautiful. I think in the time in which we live, when you can see horrific things going on in the world every night on television, that art should be more like poetry. It should give you pleasure over time. It should be beautiful. And yeah, most of my pictures, I want them to be optimistic, and I want people to get joy out of them.
And I think you're right. I mean, just walking into your gallery, when I look at your paintings, I feel joyful. Sometimes you can look at art and it looks mysterious. You can see pain. You can see pleasure.
Yeah.
There's one picture that stands out to me where I see a little bit of that mixed together. You're painting me.
Yes, it's a very complicated picture that tries to show, I guess, that there is a public face that you have. And, my public face, I guess, is reasonably well known in Australia. But there is a private side to everybody's life, and there are things that haven't quite worked out or things that go wrong. So in anybody's face, even one as beautiful as yours, there's going to be things within there that you're not going to tell everybody.
Right. When you look back over your art, what are some of the pieces that continue to inspire you today or inspire you to continue on?
Well, look, as you know, I live beside Sydney Harbour. So the evolution of the Opera House as a building has always been thrilling to me. And when you have a situation where you have this glorious building beside the Harbour Bridge, we've got the three great icons of Australia, the Harbour, the Opera House and the bridge all together. The other thing that I'm continuing to is the barrier reef, or being under the water. I was about 14 when I first went under the water with a proper snorkeling mask. Of course, you've got to remember, this is in the 50s. No Australian kid, we didn't have underwater stuff. Lloyd Bridges had underwater stuff. No kid in Australia had them. And then suddenly, when underwater masks were cheap enough for kids to have, I was as much under the water as I was above. And the joy of finding things within the coral and within the fish and with the shapes always fascinates me, and will fascinate me for as long as I'm around.
Let's just take a look at Stella's Reef. Was this after an experience of diving and seeing the reef? What inspired these paintings here?
Well, Stella's Reef is named after one of my granddaughters, named Stella. So this painting evolved with great feelings for her, obviously, and memories of that kind of coral. And hopefully, the more you look at it, the more little things that you can find within it. Like when I go snorkeling on a reef, wherever it is in the world, I like to just lie there and look at things because you just find beautiful things.
I know why I'm attracted to such vibrant colors, but what drew you to all of these colors and the way that you mix colors together?
Well, look, it's a fair question, I think, because when you use a lot of colors, it's like having a whole orchestra. It can either make a lot of very unpleasant noises, or you can make it work together. To work with a lot of colors, it's like, Stan Kenton with his band, make your Ray Charles, you put it all together. You can't just go blasting off in all kinds of directions. You have to think about it, and it becomes a composition. That's the relationship with music too, same words. And, you look at some of the colors, like it's not just blue, it might be blue over another blue over a kind of khaki, so that you get some joy out of the way that you use the colour.
One last question.
Yep.
Where do we see you in 10 years? What's the next decade of your life hold?
Here's where you see me in 10 years. I'm 78, I'm here. That's the main thing, isn't it?
Yes,
That's
it
where
is.
you see me. You walk into this room, I'm here.
You are here
I'm
in 10 years.
Doesn't
that's for
matter
sure.
what I'm doing. I might be a bloody brain surgeon by then or a trumpet player. 78, 88, I want to be here. And no, hopefully 88, I'm doing better pictures.
And with that genuine, spry personality, there's no doubt in my mind he will be. But before I left, Ken surprised me by inviting me into his studio to watch him create.
The burst of joy of color on paper, just beautiful. This is probably one of the most memorable moments of my life, sitting here with Ken Doan in his studio, and this has been an interview that I've been waiting for a very long time. And just as a child growing up, watching Ken as his career blossomed and seeing the colors on paper that expressed feelings of joy, and sitting here with him today and seeing this joy expressed on paper, these colors coming to life. It's what art's all about. It's that expression that we're feeling. It's that expression on paper. And the one thing that I love and admire about Ken Doan's artwork is that it's always an expression of joy. It is uplifting. It is that feeling that makes you feel more. And it's quite an honor to sit here with you.
I'm very flattered to hear those words.